They say flights can change your life, but nobody warned me that mine would nearly end my son's. We were halfway to Chicago flying first class like any proud dad would book for his 16-year-old son, Elijah. The kid had just been accepted to a prestigious summer research program, one of only 50 in the whole country. MIT had picked my boy. But all it took was one flight attendant, one snap decision to turn that milestone into a nightmare. Elijah had a rare lung condition. He'd had surgery a few months back, and while he was doing great, he still needed supplemental oxygen, especially during flights when cabin pressure could mess with his breathing. We had everything. Every letter approval license, medical clearance. Triple-checked, laminated, stored in a folder thicker than a steakhouse menu. I'm a doctor, for heaven's sake. I dotted every I, crossed every T. The morning started beautifully. We joked about Chicago hot dogs, his nerves about impressing the MIT folks, and how his mom, my wife Simone, couldn't make the trip because she was deep in a civil rights case back home in Houston. Simone kissed Elijah's forehead before we left and said, "Show them how brilliance looks with melanin." We passed security barely. TSA stopped us, of course, held up his oxygen concentrator like it was a grenade. "Sir, what is this device?" one officer asked, eyes narrowing. I gave him the paperwork. He leafed through it like he was trying to find a reason not to believe us. I kept my tone calm. Years of being a black man in America taught me how to walk the tightrope between pride and survival. Eventually, a supervisor waved us through with a forced smile. Elijah didn't say much after that, just adjusted his nasal cannula and gave me a quiet, "It's always like this, huh?" I patted his shoulder, wishing I could lie. But truth is, yeah, it is always like this. At the gate, we were treated decently. The agent confirmed we had seats near power outlets. A small win. We boarded early. Elijah sat in seat 2A window view, and I was beside him. He looked a little anxious, but more about fitting in at MIT than anything else. I told him about my own residency being the only black doctor in my program. "Excellence speaks louder than prejudice," I said. "Let your work scream." And then, her. Blonde bun pulled so tight I could hear it humming. Name tag said, Heather Parks, senior flight attendant. Her eyes locked on Elijah's oxygen device the second we settled in. "What's that?" she snapped. I smiled calmly. "A portable oxygen concentrator. FAA approved. Here's all the documentation." She barely glanced at the folder. I'll check with the captain." As she walked off, she muttered just loud enough, "People always needing special treatment." Elijah looked down. His hands fidgeted. My blood simmered. 15 minutes later, she returned. This time she had questions. Lots of them. "This license says you're a neurosurgeon, not a pulmonologist. Are you even qualified to assess his condition?" "I'm his father," I said evenly. "And yes, I am a licensed medical professional. His pulmonologist wrote the supporting documents which are in your hand." She scoffed. "Looks fishy to me. I've never seen this model before." "It's a SimplyGo Mini," I replied, keeping my voice level. "One of the most commonly approved devices for flight." "Well, it doesn't meet my standards," she said, straightening up like she owned the damn sky. "You'll need to stow it." "Elijah needs this to breathe," I said. "You stow that you're removing his life support." That word, life support, must have triggered her. Or maybe it was my calm refusal to bow. Either way, her cheeks flushed and she leaned in real close. "I've been flying for 20 years, she hissed. "And I know when someone's faking a condition for attention." Elijah's breathing started getting shallow. His oxygen levels dropped from 96% to 92% in minutes. I pulled out my phone and started recording. "I'm documenting this for legal purposes," I told her. She lunged for the phone. "Recording's prohibited. Not when civil rights are being violated," I shot back. "It's perfectly legal when there's a risk to health and safety." By now, other passengers were watching. Some started filming. A nurse named Jasmine leaned over and said, "I'm a registered nurse. That boy is in respiratory distress. What you're doing is dangerous." Heather snapped, "Mind your business." Jasmine didn't flinch. "It is my business." And then during turbulence, no less, Heather reached across me and yanked Elijah's oxygen tube clean out of his nose. Just yanked it. Blood dripped down my son's lip. His eyes fluttered. Oxygen levels plummeted to 85%, then 83%. Passengers screamed. One man shouted, "You just assaulted that boy." I tried to fix the tube. Heather had damaged the connector. Elijah gasped, panicking. I taped the end together, trying to improvise airflow. Jasmine helped. Another passenger called out for emergency oxygen. People shouted for the captain. Chaos. The plane began emergency descent. Kansas City Tower cleared us for landing. EMTs met us on the tarmac. I went with Elijah, heart pounding, not as a doctor, but as a terrified dad. We got him stabilized in the ER. Oxygen back to 95%. But I knew the damage wasn't just physical. Back at the airport, FAA agents detained Heather. Passengers handed over videos. Witnesses gave statements. The airline VP showed up with that corporate "we're taking this very seriously" tone, and I told him, start by firing her, then fix your whole damn system. Simone flew in that night. When she saw Elijah lying there, oxygen mask strapped to his face, skin pale, something in her snapped. She called her legal team, filed a lawsuit before dawn. Civil rights violations, medical discrimination, assault, reckless endangerment. Turns out, Heather had a history. 3 prior complaints, all involving black passengers with medical accommodations. Settled quietly, buried. This time she didn't get to disappear. She was charged, faced trial. The judge called her actions a violent breach of human decency. 18 months in federal prison, 200 hours of community service with disabled youth of color. The airline settled with us undisclosed amount. But the real win, new federal guidelines, mandated anti-discrimination training, independent boards to review accommodation complaints. They called them the Elijah reforms. My son became a symbol. Months later, he boarded a plane again, nervous, clutching his oxygen concentrator. But this time, the flight crew treated him with quiet dignity. No drama, no suspicion, just human decency. He spotted another kid with oxygen a few rows up, black boy, maybe 8. That family was treated like they mattered. When they passed us during deplaning, the mom locked eyes with Elijah and mouthed, "Thank you." And Elijah, he's studying biomedical engineering now. Wants to design better respiratory devices for kids who can't fight back. Says he wants to be the reason someone else never goes through what he did. So yeah, one flight almost took my son's life, but it also sparked something bigger. A reckoning, a movement, and a reminder that silence kills. So now I'll ask you, if you saw someone like Elijah being harassed for just trying to breathe, would you speak up? Would you stand? Comment below. What would you have done? Have you ever witnessed injustice? 30,000 feet in the air, or right here on the ground? Let's talk about it. And if you believe this story should never happen again, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this, because justice only lives when we keep breathing truth into it. Thanks for flying with us today.